Hey, how is everybody doing? Hope everybody's been having a good week, and hope everybody's been having as good a weather as I've been having. North Carolina its weather has its own personality. It can be a little weird out here sometimes. We can hit all 4 seasons in one day, and that's a North Carolina thing, I promise you. Um, but the last few days, probably this last week, it's been pretty nice out. It's been nice days out. Yeah, hope everybody's doing good. I wanted to do a little follow-up to that last video that I did. There were some more things I had wanted to talk about, and I had forgot in the moment of making the other video. But so I kind of wanted to talk about my experience with the specialists. When it got a little further along and I was experiencing pain, I still didn't know that it was cancer, but I was starting to experience pain. And so fast forward past the other stuff that I was talking about, as far as the having the feeling of impending doom, the sense of impending doom, that never really went away. But eventually I was told so much that it was nothing that I was just like, okay, it must be in my head. I must be crazy. They must be right. I must just be depressed or anxious or something. I don't know. But so I kind of moved past it, and I just kind of dealt with the feeling that it never really went away. And I'll say maybe a year later, I started getting really bad back pain, to the point where, like, when I would wake up in the morning, it was so bad that my back would be spasming, like the muscles would be spasming so hard, and it was like literally excruciatingly painful. Like, I could not get out of bed. Like, it took me 10 minutes to get out of bed in the morning, every morning, and I couldn't stand up because the pain was so bad. My abdomen and my lower back and everything, it was just spasming so hard I couldn't stand up. And it took me forever to get out of bed, and then I would pretty much crawl into the bathroom and take some ibuprofen and just kind of sit and hope it passed. And eventually it would start to pass enough to where I could get up and start moving around. And then I would get up and I would go to work. Now, I started going to a spine specialist because the back pain was terrible. And it lasted all day. I was in excruciating pain all day. And so I started going to a specialist. And initially he said, oh, it's just lower back pain. You probably pulled something, you tweaked something, it's lower back pain. So he gave me prescription ibuprofen, muscle relaxers, and some painkillers. And was like, just take it easy. Try not to overdo it. Give it some time. It'll pass on its own. For the next month, every morning, I'm waking up. I'm crawling into the bathroom. I'm taking a handful of ibuprofen, muscle relaxers, and painkillers, and waiting for it to set in so that I can get up and start going about my day. Didn't make the pain go away. Just made it enough to where I could get up. I could get up and move. And now keep in mind, I'm working all day, every day. I never called out of work. I never called in sick. I never didn't go to work. Every day. And this essentially went on for months. Like 4 months, I'd say. I was going in there and I was like, oh, it's just lower back pain. Just keep giving it some time. Try some ice. Try some heating pads. And it didn't go away. Months and months and months. They just kept telling me the same thing. This is a specialist. Okay, this is a spine specialist. This isn't just a general physician. This is a spine specialist. Up to this point, it's been months. No x-ray, no MRI or CT scan or nothing like that. Didn't even put hands on my back. They're just asking me questions, and I'm giving them answers. They never even put hands on to see if they could feel anything. So months and months and months go by, and it gets worse. It gets worse and worse and worse. And so eventually one day I leaned back against the wall. When I leaned up against the wall, and it felt like there was something sticking out of my back, like sticking out of my back. And when I leaned up against it, it hurt like crazy. And so the next time I went in to see the specialist, 4 months in, they I pointed out, I was like, what, there's this huge thing coming out of my back. And they put hands on it. They're like, oh, yeah, there is. Okay, maybe we should do an x-ray. Maybe they should. So they did an x-ray, and immediately he's like, you have a fractured vertebrae. We're going to have to refer you to a surgeon. I was like, all right, a fractured vertebrae. I was like, how can that happen? And they're like, well, it could be like a stress fracture, because they said with all the heavy lifting that I used to do, all the training and stuff like that, it can happen that a vertebrae can get fractured, and then just over time, it can get worse and worse and worse until it gets very painful. I was like, okay, well, maybe, because I used to do a lot of deadlifting and squats and stuff like that. So I was like, there's been a lot of stress on my back and sports and all that. So I was like, okay, I guess it's just part of getting old. Let me go see this doctor. So as soon as I go see the surgeon, the first thing he does is he orders an MRI. And as soon as it comes back, he told me, he was like, there's a tumor. There's a tumor there. A tumor was growing on my spine that fractured the vertebrae, and the pain that I was feeling every morning when I was getting, my back was spasming and my whole body was tensed up and it was an excruciating pain, was from the tumor pressing against my spinal cord while I was sleeping, and my weight was on it and it was pressing down on my spinal cord. And before that, when I went in to see the specialist for the last time before he referred me to the doctor, not only did I point out that lump to him, but the day before, the reason I made that appointment specifically was because the day before I was coming back from lunch. I made it about halfway across the parking lot, and my legs just stopped working. I had to reach out and grab a tree. My legs could not hold me up. If I had tried to take another step, I would have fallen on my face. My legs were completely numb. I could not move them. I was barely holding myself up. And luckily, because I was working at the surgery center, I called my boss and she was able to come out with a wheelchair and get me and take me back inside. Terrified me. I've never felt anything like that. I've never not been able to move a body part before. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever felt. And so that's why I went in there. And that's what was causing the pain in the mornings, was that pressing against my spine. So that's when I finally, and the big takeaway I want everybody to kind of get from this is that just because someone's a doctor doesn't mean what they're telling you is right. You can't just assume that they're telling you. I know they're the ones that are supposed to be able to tell us what's going on. That's their job. We look to them for that. That's why we go to the doctors. But it doesn't mean that they're always right. Even if they're a specialist, it does not mean that they're right. And so the surgeon, in my opinion, the surgeon is the I'm with some really good doctors now, and I'm going to get to that. The surgeon was the first that I got to that was, I really think he's just a great doctor. He will be my surgeon for whatever I can have him for my surgeon as, if I need a surgeon again. I hope I do not. I hope I do not need a surgeon again. But he was on top of everything. As soon as he knew what it was, he got me in for surgery within 2 days. He had me set up to get into the hospital, and ready to go. He was on top of everything. Once he knew that it was cancer, within those 2 days before I even got into the hospital, he had already contacted and set me up with all of the oncology people that I needed to be in touch with. He took care of everything. He was on top of everything. And then even post-surgery, I was in the hospital, I think like a little over a week after the surgery. He came to check on me every single day. Every day. And so I know that he was even coming to check on me on days that he wasn't working, because I highly doubt that a surgeon is working 8+ days in a row. I don't think so. So I know that he was even coming to check on me when he didn't have to. And he came every single day, and I am incredibly appreciative of that. So there are good doctors out there, and I feel like the team that I'm with now is very good doctors, but I had to go through some others to get to these ones. And I'm in probably one of the best places to be when it comes to medical. We have two or three major hospitals here, plus major universities with their own medical programs. Like, we are top notch here, and I still had to go through a lot of garbage before I got to the really good doctors. But then when I was in there for the surgery, that's when they started running all the tests and everything. And not only did I just come out of severe back surgery, serious major back surgery, every day consecutively, I just got worse and worse news about my cancer. You have cancer. You have lung cancer. You have stage 4 lung cancer. You have stage 4 metastatic lung cancer. You have stage 4 metastatic lung cancer that's in your brain. Like, every day, every test was just worse and worse and worse. And it was terrible. It was terrible. I think it did break me. I mean, I got through it, but there was a point where it broke me. It did. It really did. Like, I was just done at a certain point. I was just like, there's nothing I could do. But so then that's when I got all of my diagnosis was while I was in there. And then when I got out a few months later, I started losing sensation in my arm, and then it started to get like this really odd ache, and I couldn't write anymore. Like, I couldn't grip to write. I had no motor function. So they did more CT scans, and they found another tumor in my neck that had fractured another vertebrae that I had to have another surgery for. Both of them, they had to remove the vertebrae, put in a cage, do some fusing. I've got so much. I'm almost Wolverine. I'm on my way there. I've got so much metal in me now. And to get in for my back surgery, they actually had to remove a section of my ribs so that they could get the device in there, to the cage, to replace the vertebrae that they took out. But the surgeries, that was a big thing. I'm still recovering from them. It's been over a year, and I'm still recovering from these surgeries. It's wild. But I'm getting through it, and I'm trying to stay positive. I just started a new job last week. I wasn't even looking for a new job. I like the surgery center, but it was an opportunity that presented itself to me, and it was an opportunity I couldn't say no to. Responsibility-wise, financially, it was just, I couldn't say no. It was too good. I had to take it. So I started a new job. I'm still working at the surgery center just for a couple hours in the morning to help them out, because they were really, really good to me when all this stuff happened. When I was out for my surgeries, when I was going through all this medical stuff, they were really, really good to me. So I'm just returning the favor. I'm trying to return the favor by helping out there, doing and working my new job and everything. So I'm moving forward. I'm trying to keep moving forward. I'm trying to stay positive. I think that's the best that we can do in these situations, is just positivity is good medicine. It just is. And the more positive you can stay, the better you're going to feel. And I'm doing my best. I have my days. I have my moments where I'm just down and I'm just in the dumps. But I pull myself back out, and you have to pull yourself back out. You can't stay down there. We all fall, but we got to pull ourselves back up. We have to. That's the only way uh, we we can gain anything from it. It's we gain nothing from staying in the bottom until the end. Nothing. It's just waste, and you can't do that. You gotta pull yourself back out and stay positive and stay moving forward, regardless of what the outcome may be. You have to keep moving forward. I have to keep moving forward. But ultimately, that's what I wanted to add on in this was my experience in the medically when the things started to physically show themselves. I started to show symptoms and things like that, how things went medically. So I had pushback the whole time. I felt like something was wrong. I had pushback the whole time I knew something was wrong. I had pushback the whole time I was going through pain. And I had to go through all of that to get to the people that are ultimately taking care of me. And I just want everybody to keep that in mind. If you are dealing with this sense of impending doom, if you are going to see doctors and they're telling you this or that, if you're experiencing physical pain and they're telling you this or that, just because they're a doctor does not mean that they're right. Doctors are wrong all the time. And so if you feel like they may be wrong, get a second opinion. See another doctor. It's not going to hurt anything. It's worth it. If the second doctor tells you they're right and you still feel it's wrong, get a third opinion. It's your life. It's your body. If you feel something's wrong, don't let it go. Don't let it go. I wish I had pushed harder. I wished I had fought harder. I wish I had not gotten to a point where I just took their word for it. But here we are. All I can do is keep moving forward from where I'm at, and play the hand that I was dealt, play the hand I have, and try to do the best I can. And that's the message I want everybody to take, is just you have to keep moving forward. You have to. You can't let yourself stay down. There's this thing about falling down mentally when psychologically you hit a bottom and that depression and that anxiety starts to set in, and you just feel you feel defeated. You feel defeated. But you're not defeated. You're not defeated if you don't stop. So when you hit that bottom and you start to experience that, you start to feel that, you recognize it for what it is, understand what it is, and then say fuck you and pull yourself back out of the hole. Climb, dig, whatever you got to do. Get yourself back out, get positive, and keep moving forward.